What is going on, everybody? This is Yes, I Read That, and today I am reviewing The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. The Bear and the Nightingale is a beautiful book following a girl and her family in a fantasy version of the harsh and cold medieval Russia. The main focus of this book is on a family in rural northern Russia where the winter lasts most of the year. The father of this family is Pyotr Vladimirovich, and basically we follow the birth of his daughter Vasilisa or Vasya and her journey to grow up. Let me preface this by saying the book is really good, and I'm gonna start talking about the world of the book now. The world of this book mostly focuses on rural Russia, but we also get a small glimpse to medieval Moscow, which was really interesting. And there's a lot of fairy tale elements and these Russian folklore elements in there. For example, the nurse Danya tells Vasya and her siblings stories and tales of the Firebird or the Frost King Morozko. And I love that the villagers in this village, the rural village where they live, are kind of superstitious and they leave offerings to the spirits of the world. And we have this divide between superstition and belief in the old gods versus the introduction of Christianity in the world. Then we have the harsh winters in Russia, where it is not unusual that people at the end of a harsh winter are on the verge of starvation and of freezing, where the firewood is getting scarce, and it's just this really immersive world and this really interesting setting. And then slowly but surely we get introduced to the fact that there may be more to this fairy tales and stories of the spirits than we initially thought, and that there is more hiding in the big untamed woods than just wolves, and it's just very interesting. I also really loved the way the names worked. There were so many Russian names and it just makes the world so much more immersive. So this world really was a breath of fresh air compared to all these Western style medieval worlds we get nowadays, and I loved the world in this book. The next thing I want to talk about is the characters. Now, first of all, I want to say that all the characters in this book were very relatable, and in my opinion that's a big plus if a book manages to pull that off. So the main family, as I said, is Pyotr Vladimirovich and his daughter Vasya. When Vasya is born, her mother Marina and Pyotr's wife actually dies, and 7 years later Pyotr actually visits Moscow in search for a new wife and also in search of a husband for one of his kids. So when he brings back a new wife from Moscow, she is not familiar with the rituals and rites of the village people, and she's not pleased that they still make offerings to the old gods, whereas most of Moscow is no Christian. The girl Vasya is actually the main character in this book, and she is wild, she is free, and she is spirited. She's a very lovely character. Sometimes she can see things that nobody else can see, these little spirits from the fairy tales. So she gets in conflicts with her stepmother Anna, who's from Moscow and thinks that these are demons. Vasya's life becomes even more difficult when a new priest arrives from Moscow. This is Father Konstantin, who is charismatic and nice to everybody, and he awakens fear in all those villagers and preaches against these spirits as demons. Vasya knows that the village cannot afford to lose the help of these spirits though, because in the winter something else lurks in the woods, and these spirits are the only thing protecting them. So now that we kind of understood the world and the characters, I want to talk about what I just liked so much about the book. I really enjoyed the setting. The general setting in rural Russia is really a breath of fresh air. I never read something like this. The whole family cuddling at the oven and listening to these stories and fairy tales is just amazing. I really enjoyed the folklore parts of the story, for example the domovoy, the little spirit that inhabits the houses of peoples, and all these little superstitious offerings that people actually used to make back in the day that just I don't know, I really enjoyed the setting. Another thing I really liked in this book is the steady progression of the story. In my opinion, this is one of the best paced books I've read in a while. I really enjoyed the pacing, it never felt boring. So when it comes to the score, it's kind of hard. I mean, on the one hand, I really want to give this book a very good score, but I just feel it's very hard to compare it to other books. I think it's very unique, so I want to give this book a 9 out of 10. It really impressed me, I really liked it. It has a great immersive story, it has great writing. It's just this rich winter tale of fairy tales, magic, spirits, and of harsh Russian winters, and I think it's the perfect book to read if it's winter time like it's right here. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend you read it. So, what did you think about this book, or what are you currently reading? I'm always interested. If you like this review, please drop a like or maybe sub to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!